Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. It is 11 a.m. here, Eastern Standard Time for me in Georgia, United States of America. We got a lot of topics to talk about today, despite the fact there's not necessarily a whole lot of news. This is a Saturday show. We're having a special episode. Some altcoins are ripping right now. Chainlink, definitely. Solana continues to soar. Cardano broke some very key resistance. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. Of course, we're going to get into Bitcoin because while it's not on a tear right now, it continues to move to the upside. Is that sustainable? Are we going to continue to go? Or are we starting to see some slowing signs of rejection? We're going to look at that and a lot more. Also, today, we're going to have T-Shroom sharing his portfolio with you guys, what he wants his bull market portfolio to look like. So make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Before we dive deep into the charts, because we're going to start this morning off with some charting, let's talk to T-Shroom first over there in Gainesville, Florida. T-Shroom, how we feeling this morning?
Oh, Tim, I'm feeling better than I deserve. I'm feeling really, really good. I've actually got my little tank top on here.
I say so good that you don't even need sleeves.
That's right. No sleeves for me today. It's a good day down here in Florida. I got a lot of sleep last night. I'll tell you what.
Good.
Went to sleep, stayed asleep. And that's always really nice. You know, sometimes I'll just be working and just be so tired and then have to go take a nap. But luckily, I got a good night's sleep yesterday, so everything I do today is hopefully going to be smooth sailing. I do have a quote of the day here. It's a little fuzzy. It's a little fuzzy, but the meaning is crystal clear. Tim, tell me what you think about this one.
Let's do it.
The beginning is the most important part of the work. From Plato.
It's true.
You like that?
It's very true. Have you ever seen the studies they do about inventions? So this is another thing that you learn about when you read the Bitcoin Standard. But ever since we went off the gold standard, it had soft money. The 0 to 1 inventions have dropped drastically. Now everyone tries to take an existing invention and take it from 1 to 100. Step 1 to 100 is 1,000 times easier than step 0 to 1, meaning the hardest thing to do is come up with something brand stinking new. After you've come up with something, it's really easy to innovate and make it better and greater. And that's what we're doing, and that's a good thing. But we need more 0 to 1 discovery rather than 1 to 100. So I agree with this quote 1,000%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it as well. The beginning is definitely the hardest. If you've ever, worked with a client in consulting, trying to get them onboarded and understand their wants and needs is always very difficult. And then, if it works out, usually the long run working with them is actually pretty easy, right? Just smooth sailing, just growth. The beginning's always the hardest. Tim, you're experiencing that for sure with your little one, Brody. The very beginning is obviously the very hardest. And then
that's true.
And then it gets a little more manageable. But Tim, I did want to point something out. You got a new angle there.
I do.
It looks good, especially those knobs. You've got some good looking set of knobs back there.
You need some good. It's out of reach. You need some good knobs. No, I can't change the position of the camera, but we have this nice setup at home. So Tay, we'll see how it goes. We'll do a little before we jump into TA. We'll talk a little bit of what my week was like. So Taylor got a new job. We really want to continue to invest wisely. We're paying bills at the moment, but kind of, that's it. Paying bills. I saw something this morning that $1 in 2020 is only worth like 81 cents right now. So you budget and you do everything you need to do, and then they keep freaking printing US dollars. They're taxing us both in the taxes and they're taxing us by printing money. Don't get me started on that whole topic. Anyway, long story short, Taylor was getting a new job. She applied. She was training. So that's why I stayed home with Brody. It's been really hard on Tay. Tay has very much hated being away from Brody throughout the day. So we had this set up. We're going to see how this works. I told her if she gets a couple days into the job and just absolutely hates it, I'll find another way. We'll find another way. But to pay bills and to continue to invest, because we would like to, not only put money into the savings for the future and prepare for Brody, but we won't buy a house. And we probably need to upgrade vehicles here very soon because the current ones we have are not necessarily the greatest for children. So I have in the corner of the room, I have a little play set for Brody.
Okay.
But it's going to be where she can sit here during the day while she's working and make phone calls, but also keep an eye on Brody and check up on him. We'll see how this goes. Again, I don't know how
A
that one's going to
little
go.
a little post-pandemic home office setup is what it sounded like to me.
It's
Wow.
exactly what it is.
You're definitely not the first Americans to do that. That's for sure.
Eric Wallen says OnlyFans, Tim. All right, well,
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna avoid that little thing as long as possible. And when I say as long as possible, it means till I die.
Yeah.
Probably never gonna see an OnlyFans from Tim. I know that really makes crypto trade sad. He's been waiting for one for a while. Don't know why he has. Seems a little weird. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off that topic because that could get us into some dangerous territory.
It absolutely
if we continue
could
down
Tim.
that route.
It absolutely could.
Let's go ahead. Goodness, Mr. J saying he would subscribe. This is a dangerous topic. Let's go ahead and talk crypto, T-Shroom.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some explosive moves happening now. Go to my screen here. Bitcoin this morning. Probably going to come back and forth to Bitcoin a lot here, but continuing to make a move to the upside. After last night, we did set a lower high down here with a nice little shooting star. Bitcoin continues to move to the upside. I will say, on the 1 hour chart right now, guys, I'm not loving how low the volume is. Every single time that we kind of get back up to highs, we do see a slight increase in volume that kind of corrects us back down. You will see, like right here, shoot in volume corresponds with that fake news. But I want to see one of two things. Like I don't want to see a shoot of volume if I'm bullish right now on Bitcoin, because if I just shoot up out of nowhere in volume, that to me would be a sign of more hitting more resistance and probably going to take a nice dip down, right? But the fact that we're hovering so low, that's not a good sign either. So I'm staying, even though I'm right now, I want you guys to know, I am very cautiously optimistic and I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm saying this is nice for everyone's Bitcoin holdings. This is really good. Those of you who are entering along, that's great, but I don't look at the volume there. And I was checking this morning around several different exchanges. There's not a lot of volume on Bitcoin whatsoever. The price keeps going up, but to me, guys, that's not a positive sign. That's actually a great setup for a short squeeze. Or sorry, I think it's a long squeeze. So a long squeeze would actually, sometimes I mix up what you call them, but pretty much there's going to be so many longs entered, but there's not a lot of volume. It's going to make it very easy for good traders to go ahead and liquidate, bring it back down. So continue to keep an eye out for that. But we are kind of coming up here, still posting. Now, we do have one thing on the daily chart that's coming in bearish. I was waiting for this, and sure enough, we got it. We'd had these little red reversals, but we hadn't had an overbought flash in a while. And we just got our overbought box coming in here on the Chart Prime oscillators. Of course, you guys know the charts are always brought to you guys by Chart Prime. Right. So keep an eye on that. Now, historically, this isn't necessarily a death sentence, but it is a good indication that the top is at least close more recently in price action on Bitcoin. We had another flashback here in June. Of course, that wouldn't end up being the top, but we didn't move that much further to the upside before reversing. We had two back here. One of them called it just perfectly. We had another one that we kind of called a top. We moved sideways and downwards for a little bit before we had a new catalyst come in and move us to the upside. So by no means is this daily overbought flash a death sentence for Bitcoin's rally, but it is something to absolutely keep your eye on. And I definitely would caution you, hey, if you're already in a long, good for you. Continue to think through it, continue to watch. The lower time frames are overextended as well. We have had on the hourly chart a red reversal, bearish divergence. We keep moving the upside, but I would very much caution anyone from FOMOing in right now. If you're already entered, good for you. Start looking for when you might potentially want to take some profit on some trades. But for everybody else, don't fall for the trap. Here's what I will say. Even if, let's say I'm wrong, everybody. Let's say that we do not have a colossal breakdown in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's say I'm wrong and Bitcoin is moving up into the right and the bull market is fully back on. We'll never see a $25,000 Bitcoin again or anything lower. All right, that'd be great, right? You're still going to see a healthy pullback, right? You're still going to see dips. So if you're looking for a position to enter in on, I heavily caution you, don't buy in now when we're seeing the daily chart overextended and the 4-hour chart overextended and the hourly chart overextended. Let's wait at least to see some of these smaller time frames kind of peel back, maybe regroup, something to maybe keep your eyes on. Again, I'm not saying for certain this is going to happen, but we let's see. Let's go out to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is going to give me some more time. Let's take down our oscillators here. We've been setting higher highs, higher lows. I'm not really even necessarily counting this. I think that potentially speaking, if we see price of Bitcoin drop back down to 28.5, 28.2, now you're potentially, unless the news is a catalyst that says, hey, something really bad's about to happen. Like if we get something about the economy or something else, then you have a problem. And I'm going to talk about the head and shoulders pattern here in just a second here, Crypto Trades, because he mentioned that in chat. But if we just start trickling to the downside, and there's not a lot of reason why, right? Yeah, we had fake news and people are continuously optimistic about the ETFs, but we could easily, with the same really no news happening, keel back over. Come on now, Marker. Keel back over, come back down towards these ranges around the support level, and then continue to set higher highs. Like this is the path, guys, to a bull market. It's not just straight up and away. You will get on the oscillators. You will see them start to retrace, especially 4 hour, 1 hour. You will see them pull back. When we look at the Market Oracle Pro, again, same kind of thing happening right here. Daily chart. We're sitting in the red wave. It's not a death sentence. Doesn't mean we can't keep going up, but that's not something that you make an educated prediction or guess. We're going to keep going. 4 hour chart, we're sitting right dab smack in the middle after overextending on that red wave. Hourly chart, we're sitting right there in the red wave as well. These are not the signs. These are not the indicators you want to enter into a new long. And I get it. I get it that is bullish right now. But again, when I'm seeing this volume, this is the classic play for manipulative whales, is to say, okay, let's get it overextended. Let's get everyone thinking it's hype. Oh, here we just keep going up. No matter what happens, we keep going up, 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 up. And there's going to be a moment where even some of you who have held off and you've been like, I don't believe this rally just yet. I still think ETFs aren't coming till January. There's going to be a moment where your stomach starts to flip. It's even happening inside of me. Like there's moments I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, am I really this wrong, right? Am I really this off? And is Bitcoin really about to go on a tear up to $40,000 or something? And do I need to, put more of my dry powder in right now? And it could do that. It absolutely is. It's a non-zero probability, but it's not a great possibility. When I'm seeing all of this overextended action, I still believe, again, I'm still not convinced, and I'm going to talk about this. Crypto Trades brought it up. I'm not convinced that we are done seeing 25,000 or maybe even lower. I still think when you're looking at the world right now and the economy, that Bitcoin and crypto is in this little bubble of hype right now based off of some fake news or some interest happening, but the world is not sitting in a great place. And a catalyst, some people might be like, oh, that's a black swan event. It's not a black swan event. If something catastrophic happens, if war escalates even more so, and by the way, there's 2 different wars happening right now, that easily could be an event that brings the price crashing down, at least temporarily. So that's not my point, is not here predicting that's going to happen. My point is be cautious with entering into new positions and FOMOing in at these price levels. Even if we're going to continue the upside, guys, we easily could be pulling back to 28,500. That to me is a better entry point than trying to enter in right now. And believe me, guys, in a healthy market, that's how it would work. Meek Vision says, but you could be wrong. That's the comment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Anyone could be wrong. It is about making educated, high percentage predictions, which is what technical analysis is all about. And that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing the market very, very overextended right now. You don't want to be FOMOing in on that. Again, if we were seeing the hourly chart down here, if I saw hourly chart at least getting close back to buying levels, we'd have a different conversation. If I saw the 4 hour chart doing it, we'd have a different conversation. But the fact that both of these are riding these upper waves, to me, is more like we're getting the most out of this rally that we can. But guess what? That is a perfect opportunity for people to be taking profit and then enter into a long squeeze where price gets pushed down to the downside. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The fact that I've said this, did I think we were going to get this high? I'm going to be honest with you guys. No, I did not think we'd be retesting 30,000 like this. So for that comment, I was wrong. But I did clarify here about a week and a half ago, even before we pumped up to $30,000. I said, guys, I literally said, even if we pumped to $30,000, not getting back over 32,000 continues to put us in this nice head and shoulders pattern. Guys, this pattern is still absolutely in play. If we come to the downside, that would finish this head and shoulders pattern. If we can make a push all the way up to 32,000 or higher, yes, guys, guess what? Head and shoulders pattern canceled out. But right now, we're coming right back up, making this a very, very beautiful head and shoulders pattern, getting back up to those same levels that we were at back in April. And we easily, again, like I said, it would not take that much. At this point, it would just take a nice spark. We have people probably overextended. We have a lot of retail investors wanting to FOMO in. People are waking up this morning. They're seeing Chainlink and Cardano and Matic and others breaking some levels of resistance. And the temptation to FOMO into these markets is going to be very strong. And if you do it, that's fine. Good for you. If you're educated and you think it's the right move, I don't want to sway you, but I do want to caution you to continue to keep an eye on this head and shoulder pattern. Now, Austin Patrick just said, but the Bitcoin dominance, Tim. Bitcoin dominance moving to the upside. I don't know exactly what your point is here, Austin, because the Bitcoin dominance can move up in two different ways. It can move up when we see everything crashing, but just altcoins crash harder than Bitcoin. That makes the Bitcoin dominance go up. And then what we've seen more recently, we've actually seen Bitcoin being bullish and more bullish than altcoins, and it keeps going up. And what we're seeing right now is, yeah, there's a small pullback right now, but we're on the daily chart. That's not a significant thing whatsoever. Let's go to the hourly chart. Let's see what the dominance is doing. I think Bitcoin's about to rear up. I think altcoins are having a nice little run this morning and taking some dominance away from Bitcoin. But look what I'm seeing here. We're not getting the flashes, but we are getting the MVP oscillator flashing green here. We're getting the oscillators back really, really low. This is the kind of stuff you're looking for. Like if this was a price action chart of a very bullish thing, I'm looking for an hourly pullback and a regrouping and a buy flash to happen before I want to enter. That's what you have for educated moves here. So Bitcoin dominance continue the upside. Guys, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue the upside, whether price go up or price go down. I think there's going to be moments, maybe potentially, like I said, healthy markets, they still do it. Maybe we see a Bitcoin dominance fall back down somewhere around 52% again. That wouldn't end this bullish momentum. In fact, when you really look at it, we're out here on the 4-hour chart. Let's go to the daily chart, actually. Let's even get bigger here. The last bottom that we set, the last pullback, after rallying up here to 51.39, we pulled back to 50.75%. That's the last bottom. So literally, we could pull back even as far as 51.37%, and Bitcoin dominance is still in a bull trend here on the daily chart. We're still setting higher highs, higher lows ever since this bottom right here back in August, right? So don't get swayed by the move of the day. You got to zoom out. Make sure you're keeping a look on it. And Austin Patrick says stakes for Tim. I really hope. But I'm telling you, again, this chart will go up whether price goes up or down. This is just how much dominance does Bitcoin have over the entire market. Now let's talk about those other altcoins, because there are a lot of them doing some special
Before
things.
you leave the dominance chart, zoom out because you can see it's a giant cup and handle. If you go to maybe the weekly, or you can...
I can go to the weekly.
Yeah, you can see. Caleb Franzen posted that today. It's a pretty big giant cup and handle.
Which one is he talking about?
Not that. Yeah, where the yellow line is, basically that yellow horizontal line.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Here's the thing. Caleb Franz is awesome. My problem with this, calling this a cup and handle. Okay. You said he said this. Let's do this. Let's do some research live. Caleb Franzen. You guys know we love Caleb Franzen. He is brilliant. If you're not following him and subscribe to his newsletter, then you're making mistakes. Where's you said he talked about it this morning?
It may have been a little while ago. It popped up on my feed.
That's not it.
There it is.
This is not it either.
I've got it. I'll show you on mine.
You have
there
it
is right there. That's it. The chart under that.
Okay. I see what he's saying. All right. This is it, guys. I'm going to start by saying, again, Caleb Franzen, love him. I don't love cup and handles like this. More often than not, you want that cup to be flat. I've not seen a lot of successful ones with a sloping rim, right? But let's take this into account. I'm gonna do the analysis for you guys let's just talk about what Caleb Franzen is saying here. So in reality, we're looking at like this. This is the rim. Again, I like flat rims. I don't love that, right? But we're gonna work with it anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen that either.
So what you do is you measure from the rim down to the bottom of the handle. You move to a potential breakout spot, probably somewhere over here. That would give us a 57% Bitcoin dominance. All right, I'm kind of in I'm almost saying here, like, if this works out, I don't know if it's because of the cup and handle, but it is convenient and interesting that it's happening. Hey, Caleb, if you're right about this one, and I don't know if Caleb's watching because I don't assume he watches every single episode, but he is. I don't always agree with this, but I think that this analysis is going to work one way or the other. But theoretically speaking, just for people's education moving forward, cup and handles, just so you guys know, that's literally when the price makes a nice cup and then it kind of pulls back to about a mid-range and then it makes a little handle here. You normally want to see the rim very flat. Imagine, this is part of the analogy, but imagine the way this one is, that's really hard. You can't fill the liquid but up to here, because if you start filling the liquid more, it's just going to spill out, right? And obviously, this is just a name for a chart movement, but it holds up. More often than not, when you see a move like that, that's not a very good cup and handle form. But hey, Caleb Franzen, good call, because I still think, I told you guys, I'm pulling out for hopefully a wick up to 60%. I think the realistic expectation for Bitcoin dominance should be closer to 55, 57%. That's actually what this is kind of predicting. So for that reason, this is an interesting chart, T-Shirt. Thank you for slowing us down. But again, traditionally, that's not necessarily the greatest cup and handle formation. Let's go look at some other coins, though, this morning. We got to start with Chainlink, guys. Chainlink crushing it. Chainlink did something very, very big, and I'm very upset. And this is the kind of stuff you guys want to see when I'm talking about volume. Let's go to over here.
Very upset.
I'm very upset, and I'm going to tell you why I'm upset, T-Shroom, because I didn't get enough. And this is a project, Chainlink,
baby.
And what I'm seeing on the charts, guys, while I'm still suspecting that we see a Bitcoin fall at least to 25,000, if not lower, and I think altcoins are still going lower. We're going to look at more of those. What I'm seeing right here makes me a little concerned that Chainlink, we're not going to get back down. I thought we were respecting this red level of resistance, and we were going to get one more pullback, and I was going to be able to gather some more Chainlink. I have some, but I wanted more back down here towards $5.79. $6 or lower is what I was really hoping for. We just freaking ruined my plan, and the volume is making it so. We broke through this descending trend that we've been in since back here in November of 2022. But look at how we did it, guys. Look at that volume. Let's go down the 4-hour chart. Look at the volume coming in, people saying, I want Chainlink. Now,
that's the difference.
We're not ready for this to go nuts and start breaking up above a trend that's, this level of resistance since way back when. I mean, we've been in a trading zone since back when we fell in May of 2022. We're not going to break through there. And in reality, here's the next buy spot that I'm going to take. I'm going to wait for Chainlink to do a little number like this when it comes back down and retest this red zone as support. That's probably going to be my buy somewhere in here around $8, give or take. That's what I'm looking for, right? This is a very common move. And then again, that's because I think when we start to see other coins begin to fall, Chainlink will fall as well. It's just going to turn former resistance into support. And that's why I'm upset, T-Shroom. Yeah. So I'm upset because I didn't have enough. And, you live and you learn. And I could cry over spilled milk, and I could be upset about, why didn't I buy more at $6? Or I can say, well, I messed up. Yep. But this is still a project that's moving up into the right. So I'm going to buy it at $8, and it's going to be where I need to go.
Yeah.
So you ever thought about Chainlink?
Well, it's starting to look like Cardano might be in the same boat now with what's going on with it today.
Yeah. So we're going to move to Cardano. Let's talk about Cardano here, guys. Listen, defended the 24-cent range very, very nicely. You don't see the same crazy volume. This is good volume, but you guys can see Cardano can pick up volume like this a lot. We broke, though. Here's the bullish thing. Here's the thing that I want to acknowledge. We broke through the level of resistance of the falling wedge that we talked about here on Cardano. We continue to defend that 24-cent range, which is awesome. I'm Jay Facepalm. Chainlink is probably up because Piper bought back in.
It's got to be.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Big bags.
But here's what we're looking at, though, guys. As Cardano pops up, very, very good. We're back here to a level that we were at just a couple of days ago, about a week ago or so, back here on October 16th. So can we break through here? Going to be very interesting. You can see, obviously, a lot of volume came in on that candle. Why? Because there was a lot of sells. We're seeing high volume in this most recent candle, despite the fact that it's not necessarily the biggest candle we've seen. To me, that means Cardano is running into some sell orders right now. So keep an eye on that. Let's go a little lower here. Let's take a look at the oscillators. So Now, that's a good sign right here. This is what I do like. Not loving that, not loving the overbought flash, but I do like, see that high red histogram with that one right there. Look, let's just break this down real quick. Look at that candle. Now, that would be a shooting star. It's actually kind of like a bearish hammer. I bet you a lot of people looked at that candle this morning at about 8 a.m. and said, oh, there we go. There's the top for Cardano. Look, we got the nice high volume. We have the bearish candle. Look at how much volume compared to how little action happened right there. Up, we're going back down. And we were able to push through. So that is a sign of eliminating some sell orders, and bears just got wrecked right here in Cardano around 25.6 cents. Yeah. The problem is you're moving out here and you're getting back up to a new range of resistance. And obviously, you guys can see we just double topped. We double topped probably within the last hour, I guess is what I'm looking at here.
Piper said it just felt like it was time, referring to Chainlink.
Good for you, Piper.
Somebody said he went 10% of his portfolio into it. I don't know about that.
Hey, good for him. But here's the thing. Again, guys, I told you guys on Bitcoin, I want you to be cautionary because, again, the temptation is going to be to wake up and see this and say, oh, let me go add to my Cardano bag. And look at what we're seeing right here. 4-hour chart, bearish. Hourly chart, bearish. Kind of extremely bearish. 15-minute chart, let's go down. Even down to these smaller time frames, peak seeker, overbought, bearish divergences. I'm not saying that Cardano has to be done rallying here. What I'm saying is that it's not necessarily looking like something that I want to FOMO into. In fact, we've seen this happen before with Cardano, and I love Cardano, and you guys know long-term I'm going to hold it, but this is one I don't like trading because it has a history of doing fake outs. We broke above this resistance level back here in July. We kept moving anyway. We've wicked above it several times actually here more recently, but then we end up coming back down into it. Realistically, I still think, worst case scenario, not worst case scenario, I still think there's a decent chance we're hitting 18 cents because of something catastrophic happening. And trust me, like I just said with Bitcoin dominance will go up whether price goes up or not. If something bad happens, Cardano could be one, Chainlink could be one, but I don't think it's going to be one that loses too much. Cardano, Ethereum, XRP, others, Matic, we could see them pull back. I think best case scenario, you're still going to see Cardano make a pullback. Come on, Marker, come with me, and turn this former resistance into support, even if we have to come back down to these levels, even if we had to come back to 24 cents. I'm not certain that that's going to happen necessarily, but what I'm saying is don't FOMO in. We've seen the breakout, and now it's time to wait for the pullback to actually enter. I saw Gareth Soloway do some TA on Cardano where he mentioned his 26 cent range. He also said a very interesting one is going to be watching the 27 cent range. Again, that's some form of resistance. And he kind of hinted at, hey, best case scenario, guys, maybe we make a pushback up here towards 30 cents. I think it's going to be a lot to get higher than that at this point with Cardano. Again, the bull markets are on for Bitcoin in the sense of I don't think we're setting new lows of 15.5. I can tell you guys with a decent amount of certainty, I don't believe Bitcoin is going to be seeing 15.5 ever again. Could be wrong. I mean, things can change. And that's what's crazy is right now it's popular to be very bullish about everything right now. It's very popular to just say, guys, let's make the charts go up and to the right and just start this bull market for real. But that's not the proper way to do this. You need to continue to watch for things, look for things. The charts, again, historically are not necessarily primed to break out just yet. Again, remember, Bitcoin top dog. It's the coin that most things are responding on. Even the altcoins we're seeing flash today, Chainlink, Cardano, Solana is popping off. We'll talk about that one here in just a second, and then we're going to do some T-Shroom portfolio work. This is the top dog coin, and it's still in the middle of a bearish pattern that has not been canceled out yet. So while we had fake news of the ETS being approved really be the catalyst for this explosive move over this last week, guys, stay with me for a second. Wouldn't it be easy for a small story to pop off that makes all of this catalyst just go away? I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying continue to prepare yourself. Do not make stupid or dumb moves based off of FOMO or FUD. Mm-hmm. Look at the charts, pay attention to where we are in the cycle, continue to watch what's happening around the world, and make some educated and well thought through trades and entry points and exit points. Because Just like a lot of bears are getting wrecked this week in trades because they've been shorting Bitcoin and it keeps going up. There's going to be a lot of bulls who are crying when they start getting wrecked and the news flips. And that's the normal thing for markets. Price goes up, price goes down. In the macro, that's up and to the right. In the macro for now, that might still be the downside. In a short time frame, it might be up for now, down tomorrow. You never know. Continue to prepare yourself for both ways of thinking.
Yep.
T-Shroom, let's do one more. Let's do Solana, and then we're going to do your portfolio. Let's talk about Solana, guys, having another bullish morning. Now, I told you yesterday I thought that potentially we reject, and we spent actually a good amount of candles on the hourly chart rejecting at that price that I told you guys we would. Look at all the resistance we had in here. We even had, a lot of bearish calls here on the hourly chart, even the 4-hourly chart saying, hey, we were overextended. We ended up breaking through. We're breaking through this resistance. We're moving to the upside. Remember, not that I'm saying this is going to happen right off the bat. We had a fake out back here in July as well. But I do think that at a certain point, I think Solana is one we're not going to see new lows. I think Cardano is still an interesting one. I think that some other coins are really interesting ones. But this is calling for potentially up here towards a $46 Solana coming your way via an ascending triangle. Continue to be cautious, though. Again, guys, this morning we're popping off. The daily overbought symbol is here. Let's pull up this one as well. Again, living in that red cloud on the daily, living in that red cloud, living above that red cloud, and having a reversal signal on the 4-hour, 1 hour, the same. Again, not saying that it has to go to the downside, but anyone who's waking up this morning and is getting an itch to FOMO in, do you guys hear those stories, or you have your own stories of being so frustrated because you freaking bought the tops and then sold the bottoms? This is one of those moments. Remember your past and remember the times you bought tops and bottoms and think back and be like, oh yeah, when I bought, it had rallied and it was looking so good. And I just felt like if I didn't buy, I'd miss out on an amazing bull run. And I ended up freaking buying the top. Guys, that's going to happen once again to people who do not remember their history and do not pay attention to the charts and the news. This is a hype run right now. It's not based on anything that's really, really, really bullish because it's not time for everything to be really, really bullish just yet. Be patient. The time is close. It is coming, and we'll keep you posted on that. But for now, be cautious out there. Yep. T-Shroom, that's the TA. We might do some more here later. It's 11:32, but I don't know. We might spend a good amount of time here running through your portfolio. It does look like we got a lot of people in here watching. If you guys are enjoying the stream, even if you disagree with me, if you enjoy the discussion, the topics, the TA, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're about to dive into something very, very juicy. I gave my goal for a portfolio for this bull market here about 3 weeks ago. And T-Shroom has assembled his for us today. Let's see what T-Shroom's got for us.
Absolutely, Tim. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Here is the portfolio reveal. I have 6 different portfolios, so it's going to be a little bit complicated here, a little bit different from yours. But just kind of starting over here in portfolio 1, this is it's split, but heavily weighted towards Cardano. And this is the extent of my Cardano holdings right here. So I have that one split with AGIX, and so that's that's my AGIX holding as well. Portfolio 2 is a lot more of the degen calls, the low caps from the crypto gem hunters.
Hey, really quickly, T-Shroom, because I don't want to get busted for it. We read super chats immediately.
Go for it.
Army Piper using his membership super chat. He's been a member now for 3 months, saying, much love, bros. Love the Saturday show. Thank you so much, Piper. We love the Piper show, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday morning, where you guys catch some more alpha. I caught it for the first time here the other day, actually, T-Shroom. I'm usually so busy because I'm usually at work, but because I got to work home this week, I got to tune in, and I always love getting to hear some Piper TA as well. So you guys go check him out, subscribe to his channel.
While we're in the chat, rsan246 said, do you guys post your buys? We do now post most of our buys and sells in.
But we're putting them in the silver. Yeah, we're putting them in the main chat for our silver members. Yep. Now we'll mention them. We'll mention them later on shows and stuff. But like pretty much like you guys will know immediately when we're buying and selling in the silver chat right now. So.
Now, yeah, so somebody's freaking out about IMG said 82% ADA. So that's 82% of only one portfolio. So just
Yeah.
keep
So
that in mind.
this is the only thing when I saw this, I get it. You have 6 different portfolios, but what's confusing is what percentage are you putting into each one of these portfolios?
So this one is far and away the largest portfolio 4.
Mm,
And I'm sorry that I put it like this. I just didn't have time to try to sit there and figure out the percentages of everything as a whole. If that
gotcha.
makes sense. I mean, the kind of the obvious thing here is these are all different wallets, right? And I have different wallets because I prioritize staking in different places. So that hopefully makes
Makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, cool. And you have So okay. So Cardano, it's not big. I would say this is one of the it's a standalone wallet, right? But it's not a huge percentage of my overall holding. I'd say it's probably like a an eighth, right? Just because I do think that Cardano is going to get to a much better price, a much more
Yeah.
attractive price. I don't know if it'll go all the way down to 18 cents, but this breakout now is like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to be buying ADA anytime soon, right? I'm going to be waiting for it to come back down, and that'll be a theme throughout this reveal. All right, number 2. This is where a lot of my ETH is, right? ETH is my second overall holding. Okay. And so I have it staked on Lido, and that's why the majority of the other degen are on here as well. So
Okay.
you've
Okay.
got
Makes sense.
so my next biggest holding in portfolio 2 is Hello Labs. Now I'm a big believer in it for a lot of different reasons, and Archie, it was the one that introduced me to it, Crypto Archie. But I will say, for those of you out there, it is very uncommon for a project as far along as Hello Labs to not have a white paper. So just know, that is a that's usually a pretty big red flag. But because of everything else going on at Hello Labs and kind of the founder's heart behind why there's no white paper, I'm still compelled to buy in.
I haven't heard that one. What's the heart behind
They
no
just
white
don't.
paper?
They're not really they're not DeFi. They're not anything like that. So they're an entertainment company. They're really a media company that has a coin, right?
Okay.
And they believe in crypto. And there's a very successful guy from like the Hollywood scene. I wish I could think of his name right now. He actually agreed to come on in December, come on the Investing Bros,
Cool.
before they launch Killer Whales in January. But anyway, I mean the important part here, guys, is like, some of you are going to make some buying and some selling decisions based off this video, right? You shouldn't, probably. None of this is financial advice, but the reality is some people are going to make some moves. But just know that this is a very, very big risk usually with projects. So I don't want you to just blindly think, oh, T-Shroom has it, so I'm going to buy it.
I think even that, like looking at it, like it's 15% of one of your smaller portfolios.
Right. My second largest portfolio, but yes.
Oh, that's your second largest one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you put them in order of the large? Like, why didn't you make like
I don't know.
one was your largest number? I would have thought okay. All right, I was wrong. So this is your second largest portfolio.
Yeah. I could do that.
And it's your staking portfolio?
Don't try to understand it in that context.
Yeah, I thought I understood what was happening here, and the more you're explaining it, the less I'm understanding.
It's just 6 portfolios, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Maybe we'll do a separate video on like why I have it broken up like this.
Maybe we'll do a video about wallet organization.
Yeah. It's good to diversify.
It is
crypto across different wallets so that you're less.
And actually,
vulnerable.
T-Shroom, as we're talking through it, I think I understand perfectly what's going on here. This is so hard to understand that if anyone hacks your computer and your wallets and tries to say, what's the way I could hurt T-Shroom the most, they would never be able to figure it out. They would be confused by your portfolio breakdown, and they'd just give up. They would say, this guy isn't worth stealing from. And that way, T-Shroom's portfolios are safe and sound.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to deviate from like what you did last time was you mostly just said like, here's some of what I have, but this is what I want to have. Yeah. What I wanted to do was this is what I have, and this is kind of like, not necessarily what I would recommend, but like this is what I am pretty confident in. All right. Anyway, moving along here, guys. We're only on asset number 4, so we need to probably pick up the pace here. Matic X. This is staked Matic, and this is almost 10% of my, second largest portfolio. And then I have, these are all pretty much, all of these are crypto Archie's and crypto Seth's calls, projects they really believe in.
Okay.
These two are gaming. Naka is also gaming. And I can't remember off the top of my head what Altura is, but maybe somebody in the chat can remind me. All right, and then Kopi is a project. It's a kind of a built on Cardano, and then BNB and Polygon I have just for fees. All right, portfolio 3 is. Let me know Go ahead.
You said BNB and Polygon you just have for fees,
right? Yeah,
to pay the fees to transact and everything. Okay.
Yeah, so they're like a non-significant. They're not in there because I believe in them. They're there just so I can pay fees to move money around and stuff. All right. Portfolio 3, Caspa and PaxG. This is my Caspa wallet, right? This is my wallet that I have all of my Caspa in, because you may not know this, but Caspa is not listed on a lot of mainstream exchanges yet, which is one of the reasons why I'm pretty bullish on it. And guys, if there's a coin that I was most excited about, other than Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin is a revolutionary piece of technology in every sense of the word revolutionary, but Caspa is one to be very excited about as someone who's been in crypto for a while, right? And there's a lot of reasons why, and that's why.
For people who don't know, how did you? Because I haven't bought any Caspa yet. What did you use to buy your Caspa?
Uphold.
Yeah. Okay.
And the reason I have PaxG is because, it's not bad to have a little bit of gold exposure, but what I'm planning on doing is when Caspa, let's go to the chart really quick. When and if Caspa does correct here, which it's kind of debatable whether or not it's going to do that, because seeing what Link and Cardano have done this morning, it's kind of like, Caspa could just kind of break through this uptrending line of resistance that I could draw right here and just keep going, just because of how bullish folks are on it. But what I'm kind of thinking it's going to do is going to kind of come up here. I'll dump, right? And I'm thinking regardless of the sentiment, I'll probably dump at least half of my Caspa and then buy it back somewhere around here when it comes back in trends here. So that's why I have like some dry powder in there. That's why I'm not all in on Caspa right now, because I want to be able to rotate back into gold. It should, for some reason, PaxG, there's like no fee to rotate in and out of Caspa, whereas with USDC there's like another $1 fee. So anyway, okay. Anybody saying anything about that? Caspa is the new Bitcoin, said Dave Digital. Yeah, I'm hesitant to say that, but that's what they're kind of marketing themselves as. They're absolutely far from the first to do that, right? But they're one of the first that's actually convincing some pretty smart people.
I think that they could absolutely. I think there's room for Caspa. But again, Caspa is what I want to hold, which I don't have an Uphold account, so I need to create one because that's something I want to get. But I still think, and I think you're right also about your analysis there, your technical analysis, where you're going to dump and then buy more. I think that's a good sign. This is one it's in a rising wedge pattern that's traditionally bearish. I don't know if it's going to have a full bearish breakdown. It could.
I think it could.
But what I mean is a bearish. So go to my screen real quick.
I'm on it.
You're ahead of the game. What I'm saying here is that traditionally these falling wedges would break when it eventually breaks somewhere over here. It's giving a price prediction back down toward below 2 cents, right? Coming back probably to the range of where we were in July. And that's possible. It is. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think a more realistic thing would be the price, like you said, kind of comes up here, breaks back down. And if we break, maybe come back down to either this low around 4 cents or, to me, 3.2, maybe that one, and then we make a move to the upside when the real bull market starts. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. But Eric Wall says, Tim, just do MEXC. I'm probably gonna have to get a couple of these because, again, especially here in the United States, they're making it really hard to find one exchange, get a lot of things. Like right now, I've kind of limited myself down to I haven't been trading here more recently because, again, I lost my BitGet ability. And I've been using Coinbase again to get a lot of just in and out when I want to sell, when I want to buy some longer time frames things, but I need to find a different one. You've tempted me very much so, T-Shroom, with Robinhood. When I first got into investing, Robinhood was just in a world of negativity with the news that they haven't had really that much negativity since, other than them delisting Cardano and altcoins that were threatened to be securities by the SEC. I'm not that worried about that either because, again, my recollection of that is like saying, hey, Robinhood's not a crypto exchange. they want to stay on the good side of the SEC because they want to trade stocks as well. So even though I didn't like when crypto exchanges delisted Cardano and Matic and others, I don't really fault Robinhood for that because they're not a crypto exchange. But their fees are really nice, and I like that. So limited options for crypto, but there's other really cool stocks that I think you could invest in on Robinhood. So probably need a Robinhood account, probably an Uphold, probably MEXC. MEXC is one. I heard some bad things about MEXC, but then more recently I've been hearing a lot more positivity. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to probably go ahead and trust MEXC. Maybe not hold a buttload of money on there at any given time, but it's probably going to be one that enters into my portfolio.
Let's see. Meek Vision said, "Don't compare 88 to Caspa." I don't think I
Never.
was, and I don't
think
that
you were.
I don't think it's really comparable. They have two totally different value propositions.
Yeah, and I was also going to say about Caspa and Bitcoin, guys. There's not anything that's going to be compared to Bitcoin because really, Bitcoin is what people should view Bitcoin on. There's a lot of ways to explain Bitcoin, but at Thanksgiving this year, when your family sits you down and asks you about cryptocurrency, and to explain to them what Bitcoin is, this is all you need to explain to them. Bitcoin is the greatest and safest store of value this world has ever seen. So any type of wealth that you build up in US dollars or trading other projects, the future of Bitcoin and the reason why Bitcoin will continue to climb up in value no matter what happens is because it will be the place where everyone goes to store their value. Now, Caspa is going to be a mining coin, and people can do that, and the people can use Caspa here and there, yada, yada, yada. But don't compare Caspa to Bitcoin. Maybe Caspa is the new Litecoin. Maybe Caspa is the new, think of these other proof of work coins that are going away. Not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is and will be the greatest store of value the world has ever seen, most comparable to gold, but it will make gold look like sissy coin. You can quote that.
I like it.
I expect to see that all over the internet now. We've seen, by the way, T-Stream, did you see that we were in the news again today?
Yeah, I did.
On Cardano. Most popular story again, top analyst remains they got this one right, though. Now, I said $10 is my top range, but they said top analyst. I'm going to go here. News now. Come on now. Yeah, top analyst remains bullish on Cardano, predicts potential 40x surge to $10. Thank you. This is written by Albert Brown. Albert Brown, great job. Great job. They reference again my tweet. This tweet just going viral. I think this tweet has like 20,000 views now or something like that. Talks about the 16,500% rally. But again, they do say, he says, though the analyst believes hitting 165x is unrealistic. Zoom in on this one. He noted the possibility of ADA soaring to 40x, which could take the price to $10. Yeah, absolutely. I think it could. I'm more in the category of $8, $7 to $8, but I think depending on what we see play out in the bull market, $10 is absolutely doable. Technically speaking, just so you guys know, I could see a scenario for a $15 Cardano. Someone said, 165x from where we currently are would be a $40 Cardano. I don't see a scenario for that. That would be well over $1 trillion. That'd be like, what would that be? Well over $1 trillion market cap. I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that the chat is laughing about top analyst. Here's the thing, guys. I agree. I laughed too. When I saw it, I laughed. I said, well, I'm humbled. I very much am humbled to see top analyst. Mm-hmm. But
you're top in my heart, Tim.
Thank you for that, T-Shirt. I appreciate that.
Now, I have had on my to-do list to add the Uphold link to the description. Okay. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. So let's give it a quick plug. Down in the description, if you've never bought Caspa, you can buy it through Uphold, and there's a link in our description, and it's a lot of fun.
Good.
You can also buy see, look, they know what they're doing. This is their top their top marketing thing. This is their landing page.
I will say, T-Shirt, that right there though alone makes me a slightly hesitant to want to buy Caspa right this second if it's being used as a marketing campaign. A lot of times you see dips come after that.
Could be
a lot of exposure in that makes people want to take profit.
That was yeah. I mean, look, it's going to be up to you to make your own decisions out there. That's for sure. But we have a link down in the description. You can buy Caspa on Uphold. Not financial advice, guys. Uphold is a pretty small. Caspa is a pretty small coin, by the way. It's not like Cardano or like Polkadot or Chainlink like that. It's definitely unproven, but it has a ton of potential, and a lot of very smart people and analysts are taking it seriously. All right, let's get back to our portfolio. Got about 10 minutes left. And just to kind of round out what you were saying, Tim, I don't think that Caspa's trying to position themselves, and it's really more the market is trying to position. Other YouTubers are trying to position Caspa as the new Bitcoin. It's not. It's just a new. It is. I think you're right. It is kind of a new Litecoin. It's like a new proof of work alternative coin, right? And there's, but it's kind of like an improvement on Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. It's not Ravencoin. It's not a bad way to think about it. Because nothing's going to be like Bitcoin in the long run, probably. Right, but Caspa is going to be able to stand on its own. A lot of people think. A lot of investors are starting to see it that way. All right, let's keep going. Go ahead.
Okay, you have more. All right, yeah, let's do it.
I've got more, and then I've got a hot and not list that we need to get to as well.
Goodness gracious!
All right,
we're gonna practice this for you, T-Shirt. We're gonna practice this. You have, because we also got to do college football picks at the end of the show.
Okay.
And that'll run past 12 o'clock. So
I will point out that you have given some. You've done a couple of 2 or 3 minute monologues on some different.
I thought we were wrapping it up. I thought we were done with the portfolio because, again, this is the safest portfolio in the entire world because it's the hardest to understand. So I didn't know that we were only halfway through. I thought that we were rounding out towards the end of it.
We're pretty close to being.
I agree. 7 minutes, T-Shirt. Let's get this done in 7 minutes. And this is your test.
All right. This is my biggest portfolio because it has all my Bitcoin in it, right? This is a big one. 75% Bitcoin, Chainlink 10%, and then Doge, XLM, and Compound. The OGs will know which wallet this is because of the Compound there. Compound, I'll go ahead and dox it. Compound is the smallest cap crypto on Robinhood, and I'm very bullish on it for that reason. I think retail is going to, it doesn't take too many brain cells to figure out small cap, big risk to return, right? And then Robinhood is the most accessible app for folks who are already into trading, stocks. And so it's not too far of a leap of a thesis to think that Compound will do well because it's right there. It's super accessible. All right. This is I think my third largest portfolio. This is Atom, HBAR, and then just some Ethereum for. These are stupid. These shouldn't be here, but they're parked there because I don't want to pay the fees to get them off. If you guys know, if you've ever tried to move Ethereum, the gas fees.
And your third largest portfolio too.
Yeah. So I just got them parked there. They're just chilling. They're not staked. So anyway, Atom, I've got literally just to stake it, but it has a really high inflation rate. So both of these are HBAR. It's really good. They're really good at marketing themselves, and they have a good value proposition, which is that they have a lot of buy-in from Fortune 500 corporate American companies and European companies, right?
We have a super chat break. Piper once again says, Tim, he is never going to cap at 30 minutes show length. Oof.
I will. And then my sixth portfolio is all XRP. All right, moving on into the hot and not list. I'll go through this quickly. Guys, I'm really hot on NFTs. And so is Tim, as far as I know. I don't think he's changed his tune on that. Let me speak for myself. I want to buy 1 or 2 NFTs before the bull market really starts to pop off. I am not convinced. I am on square one of what NFT to buy, though. So, if you want to try to convince me to buy into your project that you're invested in, let me know. Bitcoin Cash, I think, is going to be pretty hot. Why? Because of this website right here. This is EDXM. This is the TradFi exchange, right? And they have only 4 coins listed for trading. And Bitcoin Cash is one of them. Litecoin also on there, but I haven't seen as much bullish moves for that. You can do more research. INJ, very bullish on it. Don't have any yet. AVAX. I just exited my AVAX position, so I just need to get back into it. That's the only reason why I'm not in it. I just took a nice profit on it. QNT, I don't know. I've just been dragging my feet on buying QNT. Not really sure why. And then I've got some stocks here we'll just skip over. These ones right here, though, are ones I don't talk about very much. UPS and McDonald's. You might want to look into those. Not hot. Algo, Casper, Cadena, Internet Computer, Sui, Tron, Tezos, Gala. Let me know in the comments why I'm wrong about those.
I'm going to extend you by 1 minute just to answer the question. Why not Tron? Tron actually had been on a little bit. Oh, no, I'm thinking Toncoin. Never mind. I removed the minute back because I messed up my brain. I agree with you about Tron. Toncoin is one
Tron,
that is
Tron is like it could be in the maybe section for me, but Tron is just, it just has a little bit of those Luna vibes to it.
Yeah,
where
no,
it's,
I agree. I'm not bullish on Tron.
yeah, I could see it at this. All right, maybe, but let me put a disclaimer on that one. If you're like really into the Tron network, right, and you're staking and you're using the ecosystem to the max, I'm not saying pull out of it, because I haven't done a ton of research on Tron. So if you're into it and you're having good experiences, I would say stick with what you know and what is benefiting you. All right, maybe is Maker, Toncoin, Solana, Render, BNB, Dot, and Litecoin. These are ones I'm not really convinced quite yet to add to my portfolio, but I need to do more research on them.
I think Solana's a mistake. I think that should be in your hot.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm just not sure yet. I'm still on the fence, but I'm seeing so many analysts flip to being bullish on Solana. Excuse me. Yeah. All right, well that's it, guys. So next time you'd like to see just in descending order of portfolio value.
Would that not be helpful to be like my largest portfolio, number 1, my second largest portfolio?
Well, I mean, 2. I can tell you my top holdings. I can just tell you are going to be top Bitcoin, and then a staked Ethereum, right? Yeah. And then it's going to be, it might actually be Link, Chainlink, and then it might actually be HBAR or Atom. So Atom,
yeah, I remember we talked about that last time. HBAR was a large holding for you.
HBAR is pretty high just because it's such a strong value proposition that institutions are not going to ignore. And then it gets back over to Cardano, and then you have all the degen picks. So that, and then Casp is somewhere in there as well, which I think that one's going to become a pretty big position for me. So, and then XRP also probably comparable to my ADA holdings as well. So it's just patch it all up there at the end. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I'll try to. It made sense to me. I'll try to rethink it before we present that next time. Hopefully, you got some value out of that, though. I think you still probably could see kind of where I'm coming from. Dave Digital said one thing that stands out on the Solana news is that SBF correlation seems a lot less. Mm-hmm. As I'm watching the trial, it doesn't seem like Solana and SBF or FTX had anything to do with each other.
Did you see the fake news T-shirt that went out there? And I didn't see Solana drop based off it, but someone tried putting out there that FTX was using Solana to purposely FUD Bitcoin and like to FUD a bunch of other projects. So it was like yeah, Solana was being used. It was like there was no source. It was just somebody put it out there. And luckily, the price didn't do anything crazy. But yeah.
Now, I did want to put a caveat, and basically, this is what everything Tim said in the TA. But I wanted to put my own caveat, my own spin on it, which is, guys, this is the stock to flow model, right? And Tim, basically, the way to summarize what you've been saying is, yes, we could just go up from here. That is in the cards. We could just go to 40, and then that's like, we never come back down to 30 type of thing. That is possible, right? Mm-hmm. I'd give it like a 10% chance at this point that's the reality that we're going to realize here over the next quarter in 2023. But if you look here at the stock to flow model, when we have been in the dark, in the blue and the dark to dark blue transition, we have been in 2016, right, in that run up to 2017 halving, we were pretty much flat, and then we turned dark purple, and that's when you could kind of say things started to really take off, right? I guess in 2020, right, in the lead up to that halving, it was actually came down, right? So when we went dark blue, man, is this really small or what?
Yeah, zoom in a little more. Zoom in pretty nicely.
Yeah.
More.
So when it was dark blue, it came down, right, until it turned purple. And then it was different from back here where it went ahead and sold off before. And this is the price of Bitcoin spot before it made a move higher. So, either of these outcomes are in the cards, right? And look, we have a decent amount of time here before that halving. So I would expect sideways movement. I would expect probably another, at least 15%, if not a 20 or 30% sell-off here before we reach the halving. Why? Just because of how much more manipulators that are in, right? We have talked about it again and again, how distressed retail is. There's not that as many hodling mentality holders in the market right now. There's still plenty, right? There's still a lot. But there's also a lot of institutions that are just sitting there waiting to hit that sell button to get you to FUD out, and then they can come back and buy your coin down lower.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it.
And I'll do this. I'll say this as we're wrapping up crypto. I'm gonna do my college football picks here in just a second because it's Saturday, guys. But you don't have to go to my screen.
I didn't have to, but I just wanted.
But you wanted to anyway, just so we look at Bitcoin. You know, it's just kind of hovering exactly where we had it this morning. The thing is that people need to remember. There's so much hype right now. There's so much hype, and you need to brush your teeth. Yeah. There's so much hype right now in Bitcoin. There's so much hype in crypto. Now, altcoins, they're moving very explosively this morning. I get that. I'm mostly talking about Bitcoin when I'm saying what I'm about to say. Why is the price not going up even faster? If we're so certain about certain details being so bullish, and if the concept is, oh, when the ETFs get approved, we're going to shoot up to $40,000. Why aren't we doing that now? Guys, prices do not wait for news that we know is coming to break for the price to then jump. You actually see rallies on the news leading up, and then you sell the release. So why is the price not rallying right now? Why are we not, if we're going to $40,000 when these ETFs get approved, why is it not happening right now? Why are the people who are super bullish that know that price of Bitcoin is going to go to the upside, who have the access right now? They don't have to wait for these ETFs to buy Bitcoin. That's the other people. That's the retail investors that's the stock investors who are waiting for that. I'm talking about the people in Bitcoin right now who have a Coinbase account or an Uphold account or a Robinhood account or that. Yeah. If we're so convinced that Bitcoin's going to shoot up to 40,000, why is it not happening right now? Because it's not going to happen that way. That's what they want you to believe, and that's how markets move like this. And don't forget this. We've said it before, guys. There's a lot of things happening right now in China that are kind of manipulative moves that I do think that we're going to see something. It doesn't even necessarily have to happen in the United States. I think there will be some United States news that's bearish, that pushes stuff down. But remember, this is a worldwide thing. We could see something happen that absolutely crashes the price of Bitcoin very, very quickly. And then we see a nice little rally. We see a nice little bump up because we do finally get the ETFs. And then if something happens, we boost back up. But my whole point about what I'm trying to say, anyone who's waking up and seeing high prices in Bitcoin and saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to miss out on the rally to 40,000. I got to buy now. I can tell you right this. I can tell you this right now. I literally, for a full-time living, working at Hit Network and then also doing this show, I'm constantly watching the news, and it's impossible to catch the things as soon as it happens. You have got to, if you want to take advantage of things, you have to anticipate them happening. If everyone is convinced that price is shooting up and it's not doing it by now, it's not happening that way, guys. That's not the catalyst that's going to happen. Now, if you want to buy now because you think long-term, I saw Eric Wallen put this earlier, and I 100% agree. In historical precedents, when we think about the bull market, when we zoom out 2.5 years from now and we look back at this time period, guys, guess what? Yeah, this was a great time to buy in comparison to where we'll be in 2 years. Is it a great time to buy in comparison to where we'll be here in 2 months? Is it a great time to buy in comparison to where we'll be, where we were here about a year ago? Like, no, there's other things to think about. But if you want to buy now, buy and hold. But don't do this, I want to buy in now, and then freak out when price starts dropping and say, oh, now here we go. Maybe Tim was right and we're dropping at 20,000 and I got to get out. No. I highly recommend right now, if you buy with the intention of holding at least until 2025. Do not buy and then sell and try to do the buy the bottoms, sell the tops in this little swing thing like this, thinking that because there's hype right now, this is a bottom. That's not how this works. Don't get fooled. Don't get rocked like that. Continue to think with your brain and think with your mind. Don't just look at charts and FOMO in and FUD out because of what your stomach is telling you should do at the moment. Let's wrap the crypto stuff up. If you guys just came for crypto, thank you so much for being here. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're closing the show out here, but we do have here in the United States some college football fans. I'm a big college football fan. My Hokies are off this week. The Gators are off this week, but there's some big games. I'm going to break down for you what they are in the future. Indie Rock Crypto, by the way, over in our Discord. Let's go. I need to talk about something real quick. Okay. Before we move, this is YouTube. I saw people ask earlier, hey, how do I get involved more with Discord? Well, the first thing is there's a free version of Discord right here. Click on it. Takes you over here. You can just accept the invite, get in here, get into our amazing Discord. It's awesome. All right, do that first. But if you want to be a member, again, we're going to post our buys and sells. There's some other things that I haven't even told T-Stream that I want to do for our silver and gold members. You can click join right here on your computer. This isn't on phone, but join our membership. It's $4.99. You get to be a silver member. You get one. We have a bro time once a week. You get these awesome badges. You get to be an exclusive Discord with me and T-Shroom. And we're gonna be posting our buys and sells. Gold, you get another bro time. There's a lot more perks here. And you know, $20 a month is also just a great way to support the channel and help us out. If you guys want to just see, if you guys just want to see us do well and help support us in general, Diamond member, $50 a month. There will be things coming with this one where we're going to create some educational content. But for right now, that would mostly just be you guys saying, hey, we love the bros. We want to help them out. Either way, choose one of these members. Go become an Investing Bro member today. But over in our Discord, we have a sports section in the free version of this. And Indie Rock Crypto is just always in there. He's doing a great job. I told him if he starts compiling and making me like an Excel sheet with all these games like this every week, I'll just mention his name every single week and we'll go through and it'll be the Indie Rock Crypto game prediction. Let's take a look at some games coming in here that I'm going to predict here. This one, Oklahoma UCF. Oklahoma's going to win this one. They're 6-0. UCF's 3-3. UCF's a solid football team. Are they Power 5 this year? I think they make the Power 5 flip next year. I think they're going to be the Big 12 next year. They're not yet. Oh, no, they are. They're in the Big 12. Okay, it was this year. Yeah, they're finding it harder at this higher level competition. Oklahoma's going to smoke them. Oklahoma's a good football team. I think there's an outside chance that Oklahoma makes the playoff. Let's see what happens when they more than likely revisit and play Texas again in the championship for the Big 12, but Oklahoma's winning that game. This is the game of the day. I'm a little disappointed that it's here at noon and not later in the afternoon because this game is going to be amazing. Penn State versus Ohio State. And I'm about to shock some world because I think a lot of people, Ohio State is a 4-point favorite. Let me just break this down. Ohio State is a very talented and very good football team, but they got a young quarterback who has struggled in games, and Penn State has no one's gotten close to Penn State. Penn State is 6-0, blowing everyone out of the water. Very good defense, very good offense. Ohio State, you got the best wide receiver in the game. I get it. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a good fought football game. But Ohio State's going down to Penn State. That's my first upset of the day. I don't know if there's more because I actually haven't prepped to this. You guys are getting my raw, unfiltered thoughts as we go through this. Penn State wins Ohio State. Air Force, Navy, Air Force wins. Air Force is a good football team. Very good football team. Washington State, Oregon. I think Washington State covers this 20-point spread, but Oregon wins this game. They're a good football team. Tennessee, Alabama. You ain't got Hendon Hooker no more, Tennessee. You're 5-1, but your one loss is to a Florida team right now. You know, they're a talented team, but they mess things up a lot. I think Alabama comes in. First of all, it's at Alabama. I would not be surprised to see Alabama cover the spread and beat them by more than 9 points. I could see this being a double-digit game for sure. Eric Wallen says, Tim speaking a different language. Yeah, but you'll learn the language, Eric Wallen. I'm going to convince you. You're going to be a college football fan. Alabama beats Tennessee, my prediction. South Carolina, Missouri. Let's go upset number 2. South Carolina is 2-4, despite the fact they have a very good offense. I don't know if Elliott Locke is here today. I had not seen his name in here yet, but he's a South Carolina fan. I'm going with you, 2-4. That does not speak to the story of how good this team actually is. They have very close losses to Georgia, who they lose to last week that they really should have won. I don't know. They're a better record. They're a better team than 2-4 for sure. I think South Carolina stuns Missouri. You get that second upset, South Carolina over Missouri. Tulane beats North Texas. Iowa, Minnesota. I'm going to go Iowa defense. Very low scoring game, by the way, guys. In fact, over-under for the score is 30. That's fair, but it might be under. Honestly, this game might be under. Very good defense from Minnesota. Very good defense from Iowa. I'm taking the under on the score, but I do think Iowa takes the win. Texas beats Houston. That's easy. North Carolina beats Virginia. That's easy. Virginia's terrible this year. Auburn, Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss and that good offense. Auburn's not a terrible team. That record doesn't necessarily say how good they are either. They're 0-3 in the SEC, but they played some pretty tough SEC games. But Ole Miss is going to win that one. Auburn's going to 3-4, 0-4 in the SEC. Michigan beats Michigan State. Blech. Duke, Florida State. I would have said if Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Duke, was playing, going to be a great game. Potentially upset Duke beats Florida State because Florida State has some sloppy moments. Even against Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech made it an interesting game because how sloppy Florida State played. But with Riley Leonard hurt, Duke is not going to be able to outscore this Florida State offense. The Florida State offense also knows it's a good game. They're gonna play up to their competition. This is good competition. I think Florida State even covers the spread, wins by more than 2 touchdowns. But don't be surprised if this game is interesting into the fourth quarter. But Florida State never really falls behind and they win decently easily. LSU beats Army. This is another good one. Utah USC. Now, I said the other day that I thought Utah was going to beat USC. Matt C. seems convinced that USC is going to take this one. They're coming off of a loss, a very disappointing loss to Notre Dame. But is Notre Dame even, I think we started off thinking Notre Dame was really good, but I think Notre Dame's, they barely beat Duke in a game that Duke really should have won. They then lost at Louisville, who lost to Pittsburgh, who's terrible. I think Utah, very solid team, one of the best coach teams, I believe, in America. And it has a decent squad. I think Utah wins against USC for the 3rd time in a row. They beat them twice last year. I think they do it again. Washington beats Arizona State easily, and UCLA, you're going to beat Stanford. Stanford had a crazy situation where they beat Colorado in overtime, but they really had no business being in that game. They're coming off a very, very emotional week, dramatic week, big letdown. UCLA, I know Matt C says the offense is terrible, but you might find some success against Stanford.
That's a big game, right? UCLA, good. Stanford?
No, Stanford's not that good. They should be 1 in 5.
California.
Stanford's not that good. That's my college football picks. Let me know what you guys think. Eric Wallen says, hey, I'm from Pittsburgh. Well, that's good for you. Your college football team sucks this year. They've been good recently. They have been, but they're terrible this year. Your NFL team is only good because their defense is good. The offense is terrible. Your offensive coordinator gets fired. Pittsburgh Steelers.
You're fired.
He needs to get fired. He's terrible. Did you see the video, Tisha? Because you watched some of this. Did you see the video of they videoed the offensive coordinator in a game-winning drive? So the quarterback to win the game throws not a Hail Mary, but a deep pass to the wide receiver, catches it, scored a touchdown. The whole stadium goes nuts. They won the game. Yet the offensive coordinator looks pissed. And you find out after the game, it's because it's not the play he called. He called a different play, and the quarterback audibled. And then they won the game, and he was upset because they didn't run the play he called. That is a man that needs to be fired from his job. I'm just telling you that right now. All right, guys, that's all we have for you in today's show. Hopefully you enjoyed the college football section of Investing Bros coming your way every Saturday. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Go touch some grass, watch some football, eat some food, hug a loved one. I don't want to say
touch some grass and wash your dishes.
And wash the dishes. See you guys on Monday morning. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.